1 second, to do a full wavy hair routine today and conditioned. Hello, 1 second. Okay. So I shampooed and conditioned. I actually shampooed with a new product today, Holy Curls. It was gifted to me by the company. I've never used it before. I liked it. It seemed like it was a cream-based shampoo. Very, very moist. Whoa, whoa. Sorry. I'm trying to, is there a way that I can make this? You might just have to be crooked, YouTube. Sorry. Okay, I'm just trying to get all of my cameras here to be relatively straight before we get started. That's pretty good. Okay, and we've got YouTube. Okay, so, or TikTok over here. Sorry, YouTube is on like a new stand. There we go, that's a little bit better. Oh, you can see Sterling in the corner. Can you see him? Little baby. Okay, so let's get started. Thank you for your patience. Your curls started to fade. What could be the reason? So I guess it depends what you mean by fade. If you mean they're going limp, it could be that your hair needs protein or that you have a lot of buildup. Those would be the two main reasons. Do you need to change shampoos? By the way, guys, I'm live on 3 platforms, so if I'm answering questions and you don't see it in the comment thread, it's probably just because it's a question from one of the other platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So do you need to change shampoos every now and then, or just stick to one? Yes, you do need to change shampoos. The reason for that is most folks need at least 2 shampoos, one clarifying shampoo and one regular shampoo. If you have a very good set of shampoos, then that should be sufficient. My favorite clarifying shampoo lately is the Malibu Sea clarifying shampoos. Sorry, I shampooed like quite a while ago, so my hair is starting to dry because I had to get all set up for this live. I didn't really clean behind me today, eh? Sorry guys, let's just angle this away so my house looks tidier. You can see my dog toys all behind me. Okay, so we're gonna go through and this is like my tried and true lineup right now of products. I'm going to start with the AG Recoil. I bought the big bottle because I love this stuff. So we're gonna start with that, and then I am gonna layer on top of that my favorite gel, the Irish Sea Moss gel, and I have a code for you guys to get 10% off that one if you're shopping today. And then from there, we're gonna see what I feel like doing because we've got a couple of options. My hair tangles mats within a day or 2 using silk pillowcases and in a plop. So some people's hair just tangles a lot faster. Like super high porosity hair tends to tangle a lot faster than low porosity hair. I mean, there's other factors at play there too. Other things to consider, I don't think I have a detangling brush here, so you should never detangle your hair with a Denman brush, but my hair was already detangled once after the shower, so this is gonna be fine. You can see it's not particularly tangled. What were you just asking me about? Yeah, so tangles. Tangles can be caused by needing a haircut. If you have a lot of split ends, then that could be contributing to your tangles. If you have a lot of buildup from the products that you're using, that can contribute. Yeah, fine hair. Some fine hair tangles very quickly. Some fine hair doesn't. Like, there's a lot of factors at play. Like I said, like porosity really impacts it, buildup, how split your ends are. If your hair is bleached or lightened, that can make your hair tangle more easily, partially because it causes your hair to be higher porosity. So the cuticles are more open. When you started using the product, my hair started getting oily. So I don't know which product you're referring to there. However, if your hair starts getting really greasy looking from using product, you're probably using product that is too heavy for your hair. Most likely. Even if it's not day one, maybe you love your day one results, but by day two it's starting to look greasy, your product is probably too heavy for your hair. If you have hair wash day, what do you think are the best 2 days to wash your hair? Oh, that's gonna be so different for everybody. Maybe I'm misunderstanding your question. But hello from Spain. You detangled with the Denman ones. Yeah, you can see my hair is detangled from the shower, and I forgot my detangling brush, but like it's fine because I don't have tangles. But never use a Denman brush like this for detangling hair. You're gonna pull out create a whole bunch of breakage. Should I use gel before or after I style with a Denman? This is the million-dollar question, and the truth is, it's up to you. People do it both ways. And there are pros and cons to each. Sorry, I just need to get my hair fully saturated before I start applying product. So, some of the pros to applying your gel before you use a Denman brush is it's easier to get it like really evenly distributed, right? Because you can really like rake it through your hair. It is maybe going to create a little bit less frizz if you apply it first, because then you're going in with your Denman brush afterwards, right? So that would be another pro to applying your gel beforehand. Some of the pros to glazing your gel over your hair after you have styled it with a Denman brush, if you're doing a Denman brush hair routine, are that you glaze the gel so it just sits on top of your hair instead of brushing it through. So that can lead to your hair not being weighed down by the gel quite as much. I'm gonna start with some recoil, guys, applying it to this whole bottom layer. Because I fully style my hair after I apply product, as long as my hair is very wet, it's okay if my hair is not dripping. If you are not going to style your hair, like if you're not gonna use a Denman brush, if you're just kind of like praying hands and then scrunch, you want your hair to be dripping wet when you're applying your products. Now, when you apply your recoil, remember, you want to activate it in your hands first because it grows. So if you don't do that, it's easy to use a lot of product when you don't need to. Oh God, I just got it all over my water bottle. Add a little bit of water. This hair mister is the one that they sell from Curl Keeper. I don't know what it's called, but I think it's the only one that they have. Is there a key name for a curly haircut that we could tell our hairdresser? Because I have priced haircuts with Diva Curl Stylist and Weedad. So ultimately, if you want to see the consult I did with my hairstylist, it's posted on Instagram and it's posted on TikTok. So it's the video that has the blonde lady standing behind me. So that shows you what my consult looked like. You can ask, if you're going to someone who's trained in like a Rizzo cut or a Diva cut, something like that, then you can ask for that. But just because you ask for it doesn't mean you're gonna get it. And what I mean by that is, like, I believe it's the Rizzo cut is meant for hair that curls at the root. You can get it if you don't have hair that curls from the root. However, it's going to be a different shape because your hair doesn't curl from the root, and a Rizzo cut is really meant for hair that curls from the root. Does that make sense? If you like, oh, you like my necklace? This is from my mother-in-law's business, Zebbee.com, Zebbee.com. These really great, I think they're stainless steel jewelry. I wear it in the shower, everything. It's a little wishbone. Isn't it cute? And it fundraises for lung cancer. She lost her daughter to lung cancer when she was 27. When the daughter was 27. So anyways, it fundraises for lung cancer if you guys want to support it. That's Zebbee.com. Okay, what are your thoughts on plopping hair? Plopping hair can be great. I personally don't plop my hair because it just creates extra frizz on my hair. It doesn't do that for everyone. Everyone's hair is a little bit different. I micro plop instead, but I'm not hating on plopping. Plopping is a very valid technique that works really well for some people. The Zebbee.com link might be in my bio. I might have just deactivated it, so you can definitely check out, see if it's there. But anyways, Z-E-E-B. If you Google Z-E-B-B-E-E t-shirts, then it'll come up because she sells t-shirts too. Have you ever tried any hair vitamins or supplements like Hair Vitamins? No, I've tried like Keratin has some, the company Keratin. But ultimately, I tend to just be like a multivitamin girl and I have a biotin supplement in my multivitamin, and that's what I go with. And that has worked for me. Micro popping out before diffusing has been a game changer. I totally agree with that. I don't use heat protectant. Some of the products I use contain built-in heat protectant, but generally I'm not using a straightener, I'm not using a curling iron, and generally the consensus that I've heard from a few hairstylists, curly hair specialists, is that if you're diffusing your hair, and when your hair is like 60 to 70% dry, turn the heat down to like a medium heat. If you started with a high heat, the likelihood that you're gonna burn your hair, very, very low, especially with all the product you have in it already. The key is when it's starting to get dry, when you're almost at that dry point, put it down to medium heat. If your hair is more fragile or it's already damaged and you just really want to double up and make sure you use a heat protectant, then that's a great idea. Or buy products that have built-in heat protectant. What are y'all saying that your comments are getting filtered out? It's always funny when TikTok says that. I'm like, what are people saying? How do you refresh curls the next day? Oh, go check out my last like 4 posts. I posted my refresh on day 1, day 2, and day 3, and day 4. Wait, day 2, day 3, and day 4 this week. Yeah, we're using Luss's gel today. Luss is hands down my favorite gel. Okay. So the pros to glazing in your gel after you style is that your hair can sometimes have a little bit more volume. It just does it because the gel's not like saturating the hair, it's glazing and sitting on top of the hair. But for some people that can like ruin all their hard work. By glazing it after they've used the diamond brush, it just like musses up the hair too much and creates frizz. So more volume, maybe more frizz. Gel before using a diamond brush, maybe a little bit less volume, also less frizz. Does that make sense? Cake mousse, do we still love it? Yes, I still love the Curl Whip mousse. I just don't use mousse that often on my hair. I love the results. It's not a complaint about the results. It is a complaint about the longevity. If I use mousse on my hair, it tends, instead of exclusively using gel, the chances that I'm gonna get 4 days out of that style are very low for me personally. But I do love the results that I get when I do mousse. So if I know I'm gonna like go swimming the next day anyways, so I don't need my style to last, I love how voluminous my hair is when I use mousse. I definitely do not have fine hair. I have very normal hair. It's not coarse, it's just very normal. Humidity help. You guys have so many questions today, I love it. Humidity helps. So first of all, having products that are meant for humidity is going to make a really big difference. Weedad has an advanced climate control heat and humidity gel. Also, the Irish sea moss gel, in my experience, is really good in dry winters, and it's also quite good in humidity. Okay, so guys, now once I've added in my products, now I added, you might have seen me spraying a little bit more water. So like it's dripping down my hand. I don't know if you can tell, but it's quite wet at this point. But I keep my water bottle here so I can keep going back for a little bit of extra water when I want to. I am going to fill up my water bottle here. Do you do any protein treatments? I have high porosity hair. Is the live on TikTok or YouTube? So I'm on YouTube right now, but I'm also on Instagram and TikTok at the same time. I don't do protein treatments on my hair typically. My hair tends to be relatively protein sensitive. I'm just filling up my water bottle, guys. I'll be right back. I forgot to take a coffee. I always have coffee before these lives. What am I doing with my life? Oh well, too late now. You're new to Luss Brands, you love it, your videos have been super helpful. Oh, I'm so glad. Okay, so we are going to start going through. Now, if I was to just apply my products, make sure it's soaking wet, and I want a very fast routine, you can just do that, okay? Like you don't have to go through with a brush. You can just rake through on very wet hair, and the raking for me smooths frizz, okay? Or you can just brush through with any old brush to smooth the frizz. Praying hands, which clumps it. You see how that creates those ribbons? And then if you want to break it into slightly smaller curl clumps or wave clumps in my case, then you can do that. And then you can either scrunch or shake to revive the curl pattern. So that's like a way you can do it without a brush. There are plenty of techniques that you can do that have nothing to do with using a brush. I like to do the most. You guys are just gonna see my routine. It's a little bit extra for sure, but it's a hobby for me. I love to do my hair, but I just want you to know, don't get discouraged watching my routine today and be like, I don't have time for that. You don't need to have time for this, okay? You really don't. I do the most because when I do that, if I'm going into the salon, if I'm at my house, like whatever's happening, my hair just looks great for 4 days. So for me, it's worth it to do these longer routines, but I get it that it's not worth it for everybody. And there are much faster routines that you can do that take like 10, 15 minutes. And they're totally valid. In fact, my friend Subversive Socialite just posted her wavy hair routine. And it is so simple, so great. It's an awesome routine. I also have my intro to wavy hair routine, which I think is pinned to my profile, which is a little bit more similar. It's not the same as Hillary from Subversive Socialite's routine, but it's also a very simple routine that you can check out. There are so many easy, simple routines that you can do. I just like to do the most. Okay, so I brush through with a Denman brush or a paddle brush, whatever you have. Then I'm gonna rake through to create individual clumps. Remember, your hair has to be soaking wet for the clumps to form. I don't know, I didn't love that. Do you see how it kind of got stringy again? Not too bad, but a little bit. That's an indicator to me that I just needed a little bit more water. The girl whose routine I was saying is Subversive Socialite is on Instagram and on TikTok. She's not on YouTube. She just posted her wavy hair routine. She's a good friend of mine, so I was excited that she finally posted her hair routine. There we go. Okay, so you see we create all those individual clumps, and that's gonna help you have a little bit more definition. So she has a really nice simple routine that she just posted about. She's not a hair account, but she has great hair. I sleep with my hair in a silk scarf at night or a silk bonnet, which is a technique that has been learned from the black and brown hair communities, and it is phenomenal for preserving your style. Okay, so I brush through with a brush, rake it to separate it into individual curl clumps, and then give it a little shake, and see how shaking it revives that curl pattern. If you have wavy hair, that's like an important step, otherwise it'll just straighten your hair. Okay, so we brush through, rake it, okay, revive. And by the way, this technique is called rake and shake. I do it on my full bottom layer of my head because it's the fastest. Some people do it on their whole head. I don't like to do it on the top layer of my head because I just really like those spirals to be really perfect. So I switch to a different technique once we get to the top layer. Okay, so I'm brushing directly back so I don't create a part at the back of my head. I'm breaking that into 4 separate clumps, give them a little shake to revive, and then keep going. With my hair at night, I wear my hair either in a silk scarf or a silk bonnet or satin. It doesn't have to be silk. If you struggle with satin slipping off while you're sleeping, you could try silk. It does, I find, stay a little bit better than satin does. It's a little bit less slippy, but it's still nice and smooth and doesn't create frizz and doesn't absorb moisture out of your hair. Okay, there we go, and then give it a little shake to revive that curl pattern. Usually when you shake your hair, nothing happens. You've been thinking you need a haircut to get rid of all the dead ends. You're on week 2. So if you shake your hair and nothing happens, a couple of things. People with very fine hair, you can do the rake and it works for some people, but it doesn't work for other people, okay? First of all, if you have straight hair and you rake and shake, nothing's gonna happen. I should start by preface it by saying that. If you have wavy hair and you rake and shake, something will happen. And if you have curly hair and you rake and shake, I mean, the rake and shake might almost be unnecessary. You can almost just rake and it'll spring back usually, for the definition of curly that I go off of. But if you have quite wavy hair and when you rake and shake, it doesn't bounce back, it could be that a different technique is better for you. Some people whose hair gets weighed down really, really easily find that really any brushing of their hair after they get out of the shower just... Did someone just say I sound like Anna Kendrick? That is like the greatest compliment of all time. I'm obsessed with her. She's such a crush on her. I'm so distracted now. I feel like someone compared some part of me to Anna Kendrick. And now I'm just on cloud nine. I like you. I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh yeah, rake and shake, reviving. Yeah, so try squish to condish. That's a great technique for people with that. That with the curl pattern doesn't revive when you shake. Or bowl method. I know a lot of people hate on the bowl method, but the truth is there is a subsection of hair type that the bowl method can be great for. And it's a lot of those people who the curl pattern really struggles to get revived after you brush through it. Yes, I can definitely explain the rake and shake again. Okay, so you want to do it on very wet hair. I've already applied my product. I applied recoil and gel to my hair. Now, for the rake and shake, I'll show you what it is. It's not going to work that well on this section of my hair, but anyways, I did it all on the bottom layer of my hair. But basically, I brush through with a Denman brush, but you could brush through with a paddle brush, anything, maybe not a comb, but anything that's going to smooth the wet frizz. Then you want to put your fingers through, and this becomes individual curl clumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So each going to become a curl clump. You brush them through, and once you get to the end, you want to give them a little shake. And that should revive the curl pattern, okay? And you can scrunch it. I typically wait till the end to scrunch it so that I'm not like re-scrunching every section a million times. Now I am just going to, because we're getting a little bit close to my face here and I get really like picky about how my face framing sections look, I'm gonna do one brush curl right here. Yes, right now, whoops. I have squish to condish works for me, really happy. Yeah, tried brushing in mousse and then scrunching, a lot flatter. Yeah, squish to condish works for a lot of people. It's a very good, easy technique. Do I have product in my hair already? I have Recoil Curl Activator in my hair. This is one of my favorite products. I really, really love this underneath my gel. And then I have Irish Sea Moss gel already in my hair. Somebody was asking, hi Selena. You've been doing rake and shake wrong. Oh my gosh, what have you been doing? Is leave-in conditioner necessary? Not necessarily, depending on the other products you're using. Like if I'm using Recoil, I don't need leave-in conditioner. If I'm using Recoil, I don't need leave-in conditioner. Do I have clips? Okay. But typically using one like conditioning product, leave-in product, most people use like one leave-in conditioner or curl cream and a separate like gel or mousse and gel. So now I've got, hi Lee. You thought the brush was the rake. So it can be. Let me show you a different technique, okay? And it's actually perfect timing because I'm at the back of my head and this is when I like to do this technique. Okay, so this is just water in here. I like to keep my sections nice and wet as I'm working with them. It makes them much, much easier to work with because they clump more easily. What is an easy, fast hair routine with a wiggly toddler? Brush their hair wet. You can smooth in either a little bit of hair oil or a little bit of leave-in conditioner just to like get some of the, tame some of the flyaways. If they have very, very curly hair on a toddler, maybe you want to add a little gel, but that's about it. Just rake it through with your fingers, brush it, and let it go. That's all I would do for a toddler. Okay, so the other alternative to rake and shake is what I call like ribbon curls technique. and it's using the brush a little bit more intensely. So I place the brush under, and I kind of like pinch the top to create tension, and I'm just brushing through like that, and it creates, and then you can shake, kind of the same thing. And see how it gives nice definition, nice clumps. So that's like a totally different technique. That's like a brush styling technique as opposed to the rake and shake. Totally valid as well, but the rake and shake is a different technique. I mean, you can experiment with both. They do give slightly different results for most people. What is your holy grail product for wavy hair? I mean, ultimately, I use a lot more than one product. I would say my favorite styling product that I always go back to is the Irish Sea Moss gel. I really, really like this gel. I can even use it on its own as a styling product sometimes if my hair is very moisturized already. Like if I just deep conditioned, I can often get away with just using the gel on its own, but it's not meant to be used on its own, just so we're very clear. Did I add gel? Has anyone been here since the beginning? I have no recollection of whether I added gel. Looks like we're gonna be glazing gel in afterwards today. I didn't. Oh my God. Okay, well today you're gonna see what it looks like when we glaze in gel after the fact. I don't usually do that. Okay, so see how I went to shake and it all broke apart here? On my hair, one of the things that causes that is that my hair is not wet enough. Wait, I have one person saying I did add gel and another person saying I didn't add gel. I think I just added recoil. I have no recollection. I have a long-term concussion and it affects my memory so much. Emily, how are you? Hi, friend. I feel like we're buds. Okay, so now when I get to these like areas that are a lot less spirally, I like to encourage the curl pattern. You came in with the Anna Kendrick comment. Who doesn't love Anna Kendrick though, right? You didn't see gel. That might have been later. That might have been earlier, I mean. Well, whatever. We'll glaze in a little bit of extra gel. And the nice thing about this gel is it's very forgiving. So if I get like 50% into my drying, if I get 50% through my drying and I'm like, okay, it doesn't look like there's gel in my hair, then I can always go back. No, I'm not happy with that. I can always go back and glaze in a little bit of watered down gel, and that will really, really help. Okay, so a little rake and shake right there, revive the curl pattern. I do find the rake and shake is really good for making sure that the curl clumps aren't too big on my head, which saves me a little bit of time later, because whatever size your clumps are when your hair dries is the size they're gonna keep reforming into, right? That's one of the biggest struggles a lot of people have when they use brush styling or like brush curls or whatever, is I wonder, here's what we're gonna do. When they're brush styling their hair, is their clumps are too big. I'm sorry, I didn't have coffee this morning, so my brain is just like, not it. I don't think I added gel. It doesn't feel like there's gel on my hands. No, I didn't add gel. There's no freaking way. Okay, so I also emulsify my gel in my hands. It's less important with the gel than it is with the Lust Brands All-in-One. If that's a product you use, you really want to emulsify that product first. But I like to do it with this too. So I'm gonna glaze in my product. I usually do this before I do brush styling, but I think I forgot. So it's not too late. You can glaze it in now. Okay. Emily, it's finally clicking. That makes me so happy. So I like to add it before, just so that I can really get it evenly distributed on my hair. However, there are very valid reasons that a lot of people prefer to add it in after. So it really comes down to personal preference. Some people prefer to add gel after, some people prefer to add it before. I tend to prefer to add at least 50% of my gel before I brush style. Sometimes I go in and do a little bit of like top up to the gel after, but okay. Oh my God, Emily, seeing your little like frizz tag makes me so happy. Oh. Okay, so we are going to now, I'm just gonna apply gel to the rest of this because I actually didn't mean to wait until after I brush styled. Yeah, that amount of recoil was not going to be enough product on my hair. Okay. And then the last section of gel. Wait, I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. Just started. When your hair dries, it looks straight and some wavy. So I mean, start doing a wavy hair routine. That's gonna be the first thing. And that's going to help a lot with encouraging whatever natural wave you have in your hair. And diffusing your hair also makes a really big difference. But the key, the good first step is to start diffusing your hair and start learning about good diffusing technique. And then the next thing I would say is use stronghold products. Like use a little bit of gel. It's gonna leave your hair a little bit crunchy, yes. So gel does leave your hair a little bit crunchy, but you don't need to be afraid of that because we get rid of the crunch. We don't leave it like that. So that crunchiness that is left behind by gel, that is called your cast, okay? Now for certain curl patterns, some people like to leave the cast because if you leave the cast, your style will stay intact longer. However, on looser curl patterns, when you leave the cast, you end up losing all your volume. And your hair tends to look like a little too shiny. So most people with wavy and loose curly hair scrunch away that cast once the crunchiness from the gel when their hair is 100% dry. So you wait until your hair is 100% dry from diffusing and then you scrunch out the crunch and it will feel like there's no product in your hair. It totally restores all of that softness. Give it a try. Honestly, gel is a really big game changer, and because of that crunch, a lot of people don't use it, but when my hair is fully styled, it does not feel like there's product in my hair, and I use a lot of gel. When you realized ramen noodled hair was half done. Exactly. When your hair still looks like ramen noodles, it's not necessarily that you did something wrong, it's just that you need to wait till your hair is dry and scrunch out that crunch. How soon should you be diffusing after washing? I would just take a t-shirt, scrunch out gently the excess water, and then you can start diffusing right away with hover diffusing. Or you can let it air dry for 20 minutes and go straight into pixie diffusing. Okay, so now that there's gel on the top layer of my hair, I feel like I just went in and added way too much gel now, so whatever. That's why my hair wasn't clumping very well, because I had no freaking gel in it. I'm so stupid. Oh, I know it's good. I'm stuck on Blueberry Bliss. I've heard that's a great product. I haven't tried it. What's the best way to diffuse? Well, we're gonna diffuse my hair here today. Guys, if you find this valuable, I go live like this every single week, every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. You are welcome to join me every Tuesday. And sometimes I go live once or twice other than that. A week, I mean. So what is pixie diffusing? Pixie diffusing is a technique where you kind of use the diffuser to cup your curl pattern, your curls like that, and you hold your position for 20 to 30 seconds, and then you turn the diffuser off before you move it, and then you get a new position, and you cup it for turn it on, cup it for 20 to 30 seconds, etc. The blueberry line is amazing. I need to deep condition with them again. I've never used it. I've heard really good things, though. I know it's for so many people, it's like a cult favorite as far as affordable products go. The Blueberry Bliss line. I think you can get it on Amazon. I now have too much gel in my hair. What have I done? Oh well, we're just gonna be scrunching this castaway for 10 years. Castaway. Oh, okay. So when you're styling the back of your head, you want to style it in the same direction that it falls, by the way. So if it falls directly back, then do that. Guys, I can feel that there's way too much gel in my hair. This is not good. This is just a t-shirt towel. I'm going to use this for micro plopping afterwards. I'm nervous about how much gel is in my hair. But sometimes when you diffusing your hair can be pretty forgiving, even if you have a little bit too much product in your hair. So we're going to see how this turns out. Yeah, good advice. Exactly. When you have that crunchy cast that's shiny, and very almost a little stringy looking sometimes, you can stop there if you like how that looks. But if you want that softness to come back, if you want to feel like there's less product in your hair, scrunch until that goes away. And if you can't get it to go away, okay, if it's not going away, put a little bit of a shine serum or a hair oil on your hands, and that will help kind of counteract the gel. It kind of acts as an agent to start breaking the cast for you. So that can be a little tip if the cast isn't breaking. If you use gel instead of mousse, it ends up stringy even after crunching it. So first of all, don't use just gel. Use a product, some sort of moisturizing product under your gel, and that can really help with stringiness. Second of all, if your hair is turning out stringy, I highly recommend looking up techniques for styling your hair that will help add definition and combat frizz. Okay, so like what I'm doing right now is a very lengthy way to do that, but there are much faster ways that you can do that. If you like how your hair turns out with mousse and you don't have any complaints, then obviously keep using mousse because it sounds like that's working really well for you and that's pretty easy. But the thing with gel is if you can get the technique down, you will get more longevity out of your style. It's just water in the spray bottle, guys. How do you get it to go away without frizz? You wait till your hair is 100% dry, and if you're still struggling with a little bit of frizz, put a little bit of a shine serum on your hands or a little bit of a hair oil. People are asking me questions over on TikTok right now. I'm live on 3 different platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, but there's 340 people on TikTok right now. So that's why there's so many questions over there. I hope I haven't missed any questions from Instagram. Sorry, guys. Okay, so a little bit more rake and shake. You can see how now that there's gel in my hair, it is clumping so much better. Oh my gosh. It was not clumping well before. It's my biggest complaint, not lasting long enough. So gel is definitely gonna be your friend then for sure. Yeah, Selena, it is a busy TikTok live today. Although, you know what, lately the TikTok lives have been pretty busy. I was wondering, do you have a style your hair every time you do your wash day, or would you just let it, I don't know how the chat feature works on YouTube. I was wondering, do you have to style your hair every time you do your wash day? Or would you just let it air dry and style the next day? So I only wash my hair twice a week, and I pretty much always style it the day that I wash it. However, sometimes if I'm too busy and my scalp is itchy, so I have to wash it, then I will let it air dry and then re-wet it and style it the next day. That is totally a feasible option, especially if you have a disability. If you get tired, if you're just a busy person, you can wash your hair on one day, leave it, just put it up in a bun, let it air dry, whatever, and then resaturate it the next day and style it the next day to break it up. I know not everybody can have like one long routine in a row for all sorts of reasons. So that is totally a viable option that you can do, is spread it out over 2 days. But yeah, when you air dry, it's going to be frizzy for sure. Your hair's not going to be styled in the meantime. But if you're fine with just a messy bun in the meantime, then I think there's too much gel in my hair. I literally just made a post about how to get the right amount of product in your hair. And what's funny is when I was putting gel in my hair just now, I was like, this is a lot more gel than I would have recommended in the post I just made about how to figure out how much gel to put in your hair. And I was like, But instead of that being an indicator to me that there was probably too much gel in my hair, I just kept going, and now there's way too much gel in my hair. Oh my God. Is that plan to study and try? Yeah, it's like a very helpful little technique. So if it's stringy when I shake it out, does that mean I'm not using enough gel? It probably means there's not enough water in your hair. I can't seem to get a cast lately. So wild. Any idea why? So reasons that you're not getting cast. So what is a cast? A cast is the like crunchiness left behind from a gel. It's kind of shiny, crunchy, stiff. That you don't have to get a cast from your gel. Let me start with saying that. There's nothing wrong. Lots of people for different reasons in their routine don't get a cast, but still get amazing results. If you want to, there can be reasons that you might want to get a cast. Like if your hair is turning out frizzy, it can be helpful to get the cast to set while your hair is frizz-free so that you can then finish drying and it's not going to create frizz. Because once the cast is set, meaning it's kind of stiff, not fully dry, but it's starting to be stiff, it's unlikely that you're going to generate frizz at that point as long as you use relatively good technique in your diffusing process. But yeah, creating a cast can help limit frizz. So then what happens if you're not getting a cast? Well, you might not be getting a cast for a lot of different reasons. I don't recommend Cantu products. Some of the reasons you might not be getting a cast is that your hair is over moisturized. That could just be in general, like maybe you're using a deep conditioner that's too often for your hair, or maybe the products that you use under your gel are too heavy for your hair. So that could be one reason. Either your hair is over moisturized or the products that you're putting under your gel are too heavy. Then there could be, if you're air drying your hair, for a lot of people it can be really difficult to get a cast to set if you're air drying your hair, because the cast only sets if it's allowed to dry really undisturbed. Does that make sense? If your hair gets disturbed too much while it's drying, which almost always happens when your hair is air drying, then the cast just is not going to be that hard because it's going to have been slowly getting broken the whole time it was drying. If you are touching your hair too much while it's drying, that can break the cast before it has a chance to set. If you're pixie diffusing all the way, or manic pixie diffusing, which is manic pixie diffusing is when you blow dry like this and you're moving the diffuser constantly, that is very likely going to break your cast before it ever has a chance to set. Pixie diffusing, where you cup the hair but you hold positions for like 20 to 30 seconds, can also break your cast. Not as much, but this is the Curl Keeper spray bottle. So anyways, those are a whole bunch of reasons that your cast might not be setting, but as I mentioned before, it's okay as long as you like your final results. I don't always get a strong cast because I diffuse my hair all the way to the end and I pixie diffuse pretty aggressively. Like I basically use my diffuser to break my cast. And I'm okay with that because I'm not getting more frizz than I want. But ultimately, if you want less frizz and you're not getting a cast, then those are some things you can look at. You have too much hair, like claw clips don't hold it, and I can't do my hair properly. Any help? Not unusual. I have to use oversized claw clips. You can go to a curly hair specialist and get your hair, I don't want to say thinned because it's not using thinning shears, it's not feathering it with a razor, but but they can create negative space in your hairstyle, which will also take some of the weight out of your hairstyle. But you really want to go to someone who knows what they're doing so that they don't pick up the thinning shears on your wavy or curly hair, because that's going to create frizz. Because curly ends need friends. That's what my hairstylist said. That's why you can't use thinning shears. Curly ends need friends. The end of your hair needs to be thick enough that the curl ends nicely. Otherwise it gets too wispy and it ends up looking frizzy at the end. Yeah, if you have wavy or curly hair, guys, you don't want your hair to get thinned with thinning shears. And especially if you sometimes wear your hair wavy or curly and sometimes wear your hair straight, that's tough, because for a straight hairstyle, it can make a lot of sense to use thinning shears, but I do not recommend it. How did you find a curl expert for cuts? I went on Instagram and I looked up hashtags for curl specialists in my town. Okay. So by the way, guys, I have switched techniques now. So now this top layer of my head is by far the least curly section of my whole head. You're welcome, Emily. So for that reason, I like to switch to brush curls just for this top section. It gives me the most predictable results. And it just looks nice. 1 second. Sorry, excuse me while you look at my stomach so that I can look in the mirror that's above you. Okay, sorry, I'm back. How did my stomach look? How do you know if your gel is too heavy for your hair? Well, for one, it's probably gonna be weighing down your waves or your curls. So they're probably not gonna get very bouncy compared to usual. 2, your hair might end up looking like a little bit greasy or heavy when you're done styling it, and you're gonna really struggle to scrunch out the crunch probably. Those would be like the main indicators, to me at least. It maybe your day 1 hair won't look too greasy, but by day 2 it'll probably start to look greasy from mids to ends as opposed to greasy at the roots, which would be more to do with your scalp. I am using the Love Your Curls Irish Sea Moss Gel. You can use GHWH10 for 10% off. And yeah. How do you speed up diffusing? It takes like 2 hours and you just don't have time. So for one, the heavier the products are that you use, the longer your hair will take to dry. So using slightly lighter products will cut down on your dry time. Having a good quality diffuser will cut down on your dry time, hands down. Microplopping your hair. So using a t-shirt or a microfiber towel to squeeze out excess water before you start diffusing will really help. Other things you can do, if your hair takes a really long time to air dry, that probably means you have low porosity hair. Low porosity hair, like when it's air drying, can easily take like 8 hours to air dry or more, or 24 hours to air dry. So you can let it air dry part of the way and just diffuse for the last little bit. You can buy a hood dryer, which they're not that expensive. You can get a decent one for like 175, 200 bucks. And that way you can set it up like on a table behind you or something like that and watch TV, do your homework, do some work from home stuff. Fold laundry, well, maybe not fold laundry, but you can do stuff while your hair is starting to dry under the blow dryer. And then you can just finish with pixie diffusing. So there's like all sorts of things that you can do. Obviously that's gonna cost money, but those are a couple of options that you could do. My shorter hair isn't curly and my longer hair is wavy because it's long. Can I do my curls like you? You can absolutely try. I would say the techniques that I use on my hair are going to be most effective for people with wavy hair that contains some spirals, okay? So, and where the curl pattern does not start at the root. That's really who my techniques are going to be most helpful for. If you have exclusively S waves and you have no spirals at all on your head, You can still try, a lot of my techniques will still be helpful for you, but I would also encourage you to follow like Wavy Curly Alley or like a couple of these other creators that have slightly looser curl patterns, and that will really help you as well, just following people who have really similar hair to you. My hair is always really flat on top no matter what I do. Is it because your hair is too long? It could have something to do with your haircut. You can have long hair, but still have a shape to your cut so that you get a little bit more root volume. But when your hair is flat on top, that is usually caused by the fact that your curl pattern doesn't start at the root on the top layer of your head. Okay, that's usually what causes flat top or a haircut that just has no shape to it. So there's a lot of things that you can do that are going to help with that to get a little bit more volume on top of your head. One of them is the Denman D4 brush that I'm using, by the way, guys. One of the things that is going to help you get more volume on top of your head is brushing it up and away from your scalp. One sec. So that whole time I was brushing the hair up and away from my scalp so it wasn't lying flat against my scalp. And then actually this is one of the techniques for when your hair has a tendency to be flat on top. Get a microfiber towel, a t-shirt towel, or a t-shirt, and gently squeeze out some of the excess water through scrunching. This is going to encourage your curl pattern and make it a little bit curlier or more spirally than it naturally is. We're talking enhancing those waves right now. And this is really going to cut down on your dry time. If you skip this step, you are going to blow dry your hair for at least 15 minutes longer. You can plop instead of this at this step, but I get a lot of frizz when I plop. You have medium length wolf cut and just started your curly hair journey. This cut, yeah, I used to have a wolf cut and I really liked it on my hair. Okay. So I want to show you now, when you look at my hair, do you see how there's almost no frizz and there's really nice individual clumpy spirals? My hair does not look stringy, it does not look frizzy. This is what you want before you get into the diffusing step, okay? That makes a really, really big difference. So if you haven't been here up until now, let me just give you a little bit of background. We went in with Recoil by AG. Then we went in with Les Brand's Irish Sea Moss Gel. Both of those on soaking wet hair. Then what I did is I did a rake and shake where I sectioned my hair and worked through in sections, and I would brush a section and then I would rake my fingers through to break it into separate clumps and then just gently shake it to revive the curl pattern. Once I got to the very top of my head, so I did that to like the bottom 60% of my hair. Once I got to the very top section of my hair right here where it's naturally a very loose wavy hair pattern, it's like an S wave, it's not naturally spirals at all. I did brush curls, which is that technique that maybe you've seen where you wrap the hair around the handle. I could have finger curled instead, it's the same thing. I'm artificially enhancing the curliness of those pieces right on the top of my head. Once we did all of that, I just took the microfiber towel and I squeezed out excess water. This is gonna remove some of the product from your hair. In this case, that's great because I added way too much gel. However, it's never been a problem for me. I know people get really pressed. They really worry that they're gonna lose a ton of product to the towel. It just has never been an issue for me. So I think give it a try. Okay, so now we're gonna get into diffusing. It cuts down, by the way, the point of that is you're getting out all the excess water to cut down on your drying time. Okay, so I love that people are using the term manic pixie diffusing. I think I made that up. Has anyone heard it used anywhere else? I think it's hilarious. You never know if you made something up or if you like heard it at some point and now you're just like using the term. I've always thought I had straight hair, but it's definitely wavy. I just don't know how to maintain it. Yeah, well, you're in the right place. Okay, so now, when I start diffusing, you could just let it air dry for a little bit. I am going to start with hover diffusing instead of air drying, which is gonna give me a really similar result. So I hover diffuse until the cast of my gel starts to set, okay? Hover diffusing is when you hold your blow dryer about 10 centimeters away from your hair on a high heat. And I'm just gonna do this until the gel starts to get crunchy, but the hair is not 100% dry. I'll probably do it until my hair is about 50% dry. Now everybody's hair is a little bit different, to be fair. So some people prefer to go straight in with pixie diffusing, which is when they like cup the hair in the mouth of the diffuser. If I do that right away, my spirals are gonna get super wonky. I get much better results when I hover diffuse first. If you find this valuable, guys, don't forget to hit that follow button. I do go live every single Tuesday at 11 a.m., sometimes twice a week, with my hair routines. Okay, so we're hover diffusing until that cast starts to set, and then I switch to pixie diffusing once I get to like, I'm gonna call it 50% dry. Has anybody here found this live from Hillary, like Subversive Socialites curly hair post, or wavy hair post I should say? She tagged me in it, I think, which was very nice of her, and most of her content goes viral. Did anybody find me from Subversive Socialites post? On TikTok specifically? You have very curly hair, you need to know where to get these products. Her @ is Subversive Socialite. So the products that I use today, the AG Recoil, I don't think is linked in my bio, but you can get it from Curlology, is a salon that is linked in my featured links, and she sells it. You can order it online or get it shipped to your house, or you can order, if you don't want to pay for shipping, you can order it from her salon and go pick it up at her salon in Ottawa, Canada, if you're located near there. We're on the same step, I love that. And then Lust Brands, I have the link in my bio, and you can get 10% off with GHWH10. If you don't diffuse, your results are going to be different. Getting ready for wash day, gonna follow my routine today. Yay, that's awesome. Let me know how it goes. What's the best way to not get frizzy hair when you air dry? Ooh, it's tough. My hair has a tendency to get a lot frizzier when I air dry. That's why I always diffuse my hair. For one, you need to not touch it. Do not touch your hair while it is air drying, honestly. Like, go watch a movie or like do something that you're not moving your hair a whole bunch. That is what causes frizz from air drying, is touching your hair, putting on a coat, putting on a scarf, putting on a sweater. So it's like tough, because not touching your hair is the best tip. How do you brush your hair dry without it being frizzy? If you find the answer to that, please let me know. But as far as I know, most people with wavy and curly hair don't brush their hair dry if they want it to look nice afterwards, unless they're gonna wear it in brushed out waves. That can actually look really nice, especially if you have a bit of a looser wavy pattern, like just S waves. Then I would you go ahead and brush it out and maybe use a little bit of a smoothing cream or a hair oil to just like smooth it. You could try that, and then you'll have like a brushed out waves kind of look. Okay, so guys, I'm starting to have a cast here. I don't know if you can tell, but my hair is now about 50% dry, but see how it still looks very wet? That's because the cast. It's probably because I put too much gel in my hair, but it's also because of the cast. So now I'm going to switch to Pixie Diffusing. Okay, so when I'm Pixie Diffusing, I lower the hair into the mouth of the diffuser, and then I turn it on, and I hold positions for like 20 to 30 seconds, okay? The key is you don't want to manic Pixie Diffuse, where you go like this and you move your diffuser constantly, because you're gonna create frizz and stringiness in your hair. You're gonna break up all of those curl clumps before they're ready to be broken up. So if you've ever said, oh, I can't diffuse my hair, it just leaves my hair super frizzy, Is it because are you manic pixie diffusing? Because most of us can't manic pixie diffuse without our hair turning out frizzy and stringy. Try diffusing with that hover diffusing first, where you're just hovering around the hair, and then when your hair is partially dry, scrunch in, or like scrunch it like this and hold your positions for 20 to 30 seconds. So I have my hair on high heat because otherwise we're gonna be here all friggin' day, so I do it for you. But also, I heard a curly hair specialist, Curly Gal Chloe, awesome creator. I think she's on Instagram and TikTok. And she was saying that in her opinion, using a straightener or a curling iron on your hair is like using an iron on clothes. The likelihood you're gonna burn your hair is actually pretty high if you aren't careful and if you're not constantly moving the iron. Diffusing your hair is like tumble drying your clothes. The likelihood that you are going to burn your hair is not very high. With that said, use your good judgment. If your hair is very fragile and very prone to heat damage, use a heat protectant, right? Yeah, so I turn it off in between to create the minimal amount of frizz. I turn the diffuser off before I move it. This is the Lust Brands diffuser and blow dryer. I usually have it linked in my bio, but I think they're sold out of it right now. You can double check on their website. But when it's back in stock, I do have a 10% off code. You just bought your first diffuser, that's amazing. If you find this helpful, guys, I do go live every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. with a full hair routine, so definitely hit that follow button and we can hang out again. What kind of shampoo and conditioner do you use? I typically use the Lust Brands shampoo and conditioner, although I do switch it up. Like today I tried Holy Curls shampoo. I recently tried the Mela and Kira shampoo and conditioner, which I loved. They're a little bit more expensive. They're more of like a luxury product. So it's gonna take me a little bit longer to diffuse my hair today because I added too much gel by accident, not on purpose. But usually it takes about 30 minutes to diffuse my hair. But do you see, guys, how I'm really holding positions for quite a while, like 20 to 30 seconds. You don't want to be constantly moving your diffuser, otherwise you're going to create frizz. I've heard that the Dyson is a lot quieter. It's all very expensive though. It's been 4 months since you started CGM. My curls become frizzy after 3 days and always have wet curls. I don't have a diffuser, so I air dry. Can you suggest some ways to enhance my routine? I don't follow strict CGM, but I mean, your curls become frizzy after 3 days. Like, that's pretty good. Most people have to refresh their hair after 3 days. So just use a smoothing cream to smooth some of the frizz by day 3. Why do my roots take longer to dry than mids to ends, even when diffusing? Ooh, it's possible you've got buildup on your mids to ends. It looks like there's something in my hair, but there isn't. It's just the back wall. You have a Dyson because you had a $500 gift card. She says her Dyson is good, but not worth $550 in her opinion. So how do I sleep with my hair at night? You can see some of my recent videos about this, but I sleep with a silk scarf or a silk bonnet at night or a silk scarf. Wearing silk while you're sleeping is a technique to wrap your hair is a technique learned from the black and brown hair communities. And it's really, really effective at preventing moisture loss and not getting hair product on your face and just generally helping to preserve your style. I have not tried the Lay-Fin dryer. Okay, I'm gonna try sitting down because my back is hurting. You own a Dyson and it's the dumbest purchase you've ever made. That's so funny. I don't know, my hairstylist has a Dyson and she loves it. I don't have a Dyson. Most of my hair is curly wavy, but the back is straight. How can I fix that? Well, it depends why the back is straight. If it's damaged at the back of your head, well then you could do bond treatments or get a good trim, and that will help. You can try clarifying, maybe you've got a lot of buildup at the back of your head. But for a lot of people, having a super uneven curl pattern is just normal, and it's just part of our hair. That's one of the reasons that going to a curly hair specialist, although it's very expensive, is really helpful, because they're going to pay attention to your natural curl pattern when they're cutting your hair, and they're going to blend it all together very nicely. Oh my god, I love the votes on whether or not a Dyson is worth it. My husband does laugh at me when I wear my silk bonnet. He does laugh at me, but so? Mine just falls after a bit. So what do I mean by buildup? Some of the products that you use can build up on your hair. Not only that, but even if you're following Curly Girl Method approved products, which aren't supposed to build up on your hair, if you have hard water, if you have minerals in your water, that can build up on your hair. Environmental factors can build up on your hair. So many different things can build up on your hair. And so for that reason, you want to be clarifying your hair with a clarifying shampoo every once in a while to remove all of that buildup. Okay, so guys, my hair is like, I would say 90% dry, but do you see how it still looks damp? I added a little bit too much gel to my hair, but also this is just a cast, okay? So now, if I didn't want to break my cast right now, I could let my hair air dry the last little bit of the way, or I could hover diffuse the last little bit in order to kind of preserve the cast, now that my hair is like 90% dry. And that will create the minimal amount of frizz and help me get a little bit more longevity out of the style, but I don't worry about that, okay? I do not worry about that. I am just going to, I like to actually break my cast with my diffuser. It's going to create a little bit more frizz when you do that. So guys, remember that when you're typing your hair, you do it on air-dried hair with no product and unstyled. That is not what my hair looks like when I do that. There's a massive difference in what my hair looks like air-dried, unstyled, with no product compared to when I style it. Because when you're saying what my hair type is, you don't want to just be evaluating how good I am at styling my hair, right? You want to be evaluating what the natural state of my hair is. So the top layer of my hair is much less spirally than the bottom layer of my hair. However, I do brush curls on the top layer of my hair, and then I scrunch upside down with a t-shirt towel, and then I diffuse upside down. And all of those things really encourage the curl pattern on the top layer of my head. So there's techniques that can really help with that. I have a couple of posts about that if you go back. Pineappling or willow on my hair type, or less spirally hair, it's technically called willowing, which is when you use a silk scrunchie to put your hair in a loose bun on top of your head. Pineappling is when someone does that same thing, but their curl starts at the root. So it tends to look more like a pineapple on top of their head, versus when you have a looser curl pattern that doesn't start at the root, it'll look more like willow branches that you folded in half. Does that make sense? And yeah, it's used to protect your hair. Do you use heat or cool setting only? I use heat. Okay. So now you can see I'm scrunching to get rid of that like crunchy like cast that I had. Although I have to say the Les Brands gel doesn't really leave a crunchy cast. It's just kind of a stiff cast. Just a little bit stiff and shiny, but yeah, not really crunchy. On my hair at least. People always complain about the curly police, but in reality, the wavy police are even worse. How do you know you have naturally curly hair? I think you would know if you had naturally curly hair. If what you're asking is how can I tell if I have natural curl pattern or if I have like wave to my hair, like then if you scrunch your hair and it holds an S wave or a spiral on its own, then especially while it's wet, it's worth pursuing. It's okay, even if it falls out a little bit while your hair dries, it's worth giving it a try. The best thing to do is to just try doing a wavy hair routine and see if you like the results, and then just start adjusting from there. Okay. How to get more confident about your curls. You always straighten it. Do you have any tips? That's tough, but I would say for one, if you are straightening your hair, make sure you use heat protectant when you do straighten it. For two, there's nothing wrong with straightening your hair. If that's what makes you feel comfortable, then do that. Your time will come where you start feeling more confident. Sorry, I'll show you guys in just a second. I just like it to be fully dry. But you will get more confident by wearing it curly or wearing it wavy more often, because you'll get used to how it looks. But if you don't ever wear it like that, you end up being, I find, a little bit more critical of it. Now, I should check my privilege, like as a white woman, obviously, I'm not dealing with a lot of maybe the negative attention that sometimes some black and brown folks might get for their hair. So take that caveat into consideration there. But so it's not a perm. This is, I hesitate to call it my natural hair pattern because you guys just saw I did a very intense routine. But yeah, my best advice to build confidence with your hair is to start wearing it the way you want to wear it. Be unapologetic about it. And learn everything you can, and have a couple of good hairstyles up your sleeve, so that you can have like a half up hairstyle or something that you can do that will make you feel a little bit more confident if you feel like you had like a bad wash day. You don't have to wear it down, and you don't have to straighten it. There's lots of options in between. What is this? What is even happening there? That is so weird. I don't know if that's ever happened to me. 1 second. Trying to debate if I should just like leave it, like what? So what I'm gonna do to fix that is I just wet the root just where it's doing that. And I'm just going to try and finger curl it and try and get that like kink in my hair to loosen a little bit. Learn that it's okay to not look perfect for wavy and curly hair. It does have its own personality. I totally agree with that. Okay, so see, I just wet it a little bit and that loosened it just a touch, and I'm a little bit happier with that result. So what products did I use? Yeah, I added way too much gel. It's not at all crunchy. It's super, super soft right now, but I added way too much gel today, for sure. I didn't mean to. If you were here earlier, you know when I realized that. But I'm not done quite yet. I'm gonna go through and break up all of these spirals because they're a little too chunky for my taste. It's just, I just re-wet this section. What kind of hairstyles don't ruin the curls? Ultimately, I recommend going to someone who knows how to cut wavy or curly hair, because they're gonna pay attention to your natural curl pattern and what it's like when it's dry, and not just what it's like when it's wet. Thank you, we're not quite done yet. I don't like it to look quite this princessy, although this is totally fine. Every time you put your curls in a bun, they break. Yeah, things like a banana clip will be a little bit more gentle on your spirals or curls or waves, whatever you have. So how did I define the curls? With a brush. With AG Recoil, Lust Brands Irish Sea Moss Gel, and then a brush. But see what I mean? That like, yes, you can tell there's a lot of gel in my hair right now, but it's not terrible. And that's because I diffused. If I had air dried, it would look like there would be way too much product in my hair right now. Okay, so I think actually, normally what I would do, I'm trying to decide how I want to proceed at this point, because I'm going to be shadowing in a hair salon tomorrow, so I want my hair to look really good tomorrow. So for like best results today, I would go through and break up all of these spirals into much smaller spirals that would restore volume so I had nice big hair. However, I'm thinking I might not do that because I might do that tomorrow. before I go to the salon. No, we're gonna do it today. We're gonna do it today. You guys have waited long enough. I don't shave my armpits. Would you say to get your product based off your porosity over pattern? You have to take both into consideration. You can't just use one or just the other. Wavy hair, and also like don't oversell the importance of porosity. Like porosity is important, but like wavy hair tends to need lighter, stronger hold products. Curlier hair tends to be able to get away with slightly heavier products. However, if you have curly hair that's very low porosity, you might need to go back to those lighter products again. So both of them play a part into it. Can you please tell us the news, or at least some clue? I mean, I've been dropping clues constantly, so there's been lots of clues dropped. However, it affects more than just me, so I can't just drop the news. But I want the people who actually, I'm talking about over on Instagram, I was letting you guys know that there's some really big news coming. I'm not letting you know today what it is. It will get announced in the next 14 days, and when I find out what day it's going to be announced, I'll let you know in advance that it's coming. There's been some really good guesses about what it is. Lexi says, you're pregnant. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to make the announcement soon. I know, I'm sorry, some people hate that. Some people love anticipation and knowing that news is coming and it's something to look forward to. Some people don't like it. So if it's something that you don't like and you don't like that I said there's news coming and now I'm not telling you right away what it is, I'm sorry. But I will be telling you soon. I'm not going to make you wait for like months or anything like that. The news is coming soon. Okay. So, I just realized I'm probably going to film a little bit of content today, so I am going to go through and just start breaking these babies up a little bit. Thank you so much. So what would you do with high porosity wavy hair? I would use light stronghold products. Oh no, one sec. I just have this one. It's really important that you don't mess with your spirals or your waves or your curls too much before your hair is dry. If you do, it's a recipe for frizz. So that's why I'm like really making sure that this one spot that I re-wet is dry before I go in and manipulate it too much. How do you get rid of product buildup at the root? Malibu C. Goo Gone, is that what it's called, guys? Goo Gone? Okay, so I don't know, I feel like my hair is not 100% dry, so I'm kind of like hesitant to mess with it too much. It's because I put so much gel in my hair, and it's a very moisturizing gel, so it's just kind of like, yeah. Malibu Undo Goo, thank you. Do you think I can ever remember what that's called? It's actually like a pretty catchy name too, like you'd think I would remember. I sometimes find it easier to break up my curl clumps just by feel. Okay, so we're gonna go through and basically I'm breaking up these curl clumps to restore a little bit of volume and to make it a little bit less princessy, if that makes sense. Thank you. And I think it's so hard when I'm styling my hair with the intention that I want it to look good the next day, because I'm like, how much do I do today? So I let the parting kind of create what it wants to do naturally. If your curls drop by day 2, I just posted a video, it's like in one of my last videos where I talk about how to get your hair to like preserve. It's the video after the one that has like 400,000 views, that's like recent. And I talk about how to get your style to last longer, and that's a really helpful video. So yes, I did say when your curl clumps aren't broken up enough when your hair is wet, however whatever size clump they're going to be when they dry, they're going to keep wanting to reform into this size. So I can break up the curl clumps right now, absolutely. They're probably going to reform. Very, very accurate. I just didn't break them up small enough, in my opinion, when I was styling my hair when it was wet. But I mean, the solution to that is to break them up once they're dry. But you're right, they are going to keep reforming if I do this. No, you remembered correctly, Tony. You know. Okay, so we're just gonna go through, and basically, like, I'm kind of trying to bring some frizz back into it. Thank you so much. By going through and, like, here, let me show you how this is starting to look. So you can see it's starting to bring some, like, shape back into it, and it's a little bit less, like, perfect spirals. So it just depends which look you like better. Like, there's no right or wrong, it's just my personal preference. I like it to look a little bit more lived in. Oil helps you for the curl clumps to not reform. That hasn't helped for me. Hairspray can sometimes help, but the best thing is to just do smaller curl clumps to begin with. I don't type beyond wavy, curly, etc. because I don't have just one curl type on my head. I have multiple. You have very tight curls and you want them to be like mine. Do you know what products would help with that? I mean, as a rule, I don't recommend trying to make your curls like someone else's. You want to lean into making your curls the healthiest version of what they are. That is my best recommendation, because otherwise you are going to be fighting your hair for the rest of your life. Go to see a curly hair specialist. Get them to give you a shape that you really love that complements your curl pattern. But certainly there are products that can, like, fight shrinkage and stuff like that. I don't really recommend going in that direction. Like, my curl pattern doesn't start at the root. If you have a curl pattern that starts at the root, you can do an amazing cut, like a Rezo cut, something like that. You're gonna get different results, and it's stunning. I would love to have hair like that, but your best bet is to try and get, wait, before diffusing, did you, like, curl your hair with your finger or a brush? So half of it I did with a brush, and half of it I just did rake and shake. Yeah. Is shea butter products bad? Do you mean shea moisture? Shea butter in general is not bad, depending on where it is in the ingredient list. Shea moisture products, I don't recommend. Yeah, having to refresh every day is really frustrating. I refresh most days, but, like, I don't wet my hair. I do a dry refresh. Which, if you want to see how I do that, I just posted a bunch of videos, like very recent videos about that. If you want to know how to do Denman brush curls, I have a playlist called Denman, and I have really detailed brush tutorials in there that you can go check out. Okay. Okay, so you can see I'm really just going through to break up these curl clumps to make them a little bit more lived in looking, a little bit less princessy. I didn't say anything was wrong with Shea Butter. It's Shea Moisture as a brand. I don't recommend. Okay, so basically I was, like, zhuzhing the roots there, and do you see how much bigger my hair is now? You bought a Denman brush today, that's so exciting! Why you don't recommend Shea Moisture? You have some in your cart right now. Because every curly hairstylist that I've spoken to, they say when they talk to their clients, and their clients say they use Shea Moisture, they can tell just by the feel on their hair. It builds up on their hair. Your curls have been falling out and thinning. Is that normal? Well, I think you know that's not normal. That's why you're asking me. But I would talk to your doctor about it before you talk to an influencer about it, because it's really a doctor who's going to be able to help you. Okay. Because typically your hair falling out or thinning, it's often caused by something that's not topical. It's often caused by something you're eating or an illness or... remember, wavy hair is a huge category. So I'm at the more spirally end of wavy, like before it becomes curly, but my curls don't start right at the root, and this top layer of hair was very heavily manipulated to make it look like this. But I know there's another end of wavy that's a much looser curl pattern. Every curl type has massive categories. So do you have any recommendations about products to switch to? Yeah, I mean, I talk about my favorite brands on here all the time. I love Curl Keeper. I love Lust brands. I just tried Mela and Kira for the first time. I love that brand. I love Curlsmith. I love lots of great brands. I love Inner Sense. I love AG, Living Proof. Okay, so now this is, speaking of Mela and Kira, Wave Foundation. So I love these results. Of course, all of these curl clumps are going to reform together. They just are. They're going to all reform because I broke them up after my hair was dry. You're much better off to do smaller curl clumps in the first place than to break them up after your hair dries, because once your hair is dry, it's too late. The curl clumps are going to keep reforming into whatever shape they were when they dried. Do I get straight pieces? Yes, I brush curl them. Like, this is a piece that is naturally very, very straight. I brush curl it and then diffuse it. You can see this section is turned out pretty straight for that whole part. How do you manipulate straight pieces? Even with brush curls, they look less curly than the rest. Then get a good haircut that accommodates that. And if you've already done that and they're still frustrating you, you can pin curl them. You can use a curling iron. I mean, you can't change the curl pattern of those pieces. So I'm going to use a little bit of this Wave Foundation. So this is kind of a mixture between like a texturizing spray and a sea salt spray. Not really a hairspray, but maybe a little bit of hold. And it's going to add texture to my hair, which is going to help my hair not slip and slide together quite as easily. And as a result, all these curl clumps aren't going to like mesh back together quite as easily, is my hope. Okay. I've only used this product once, and I loved the results. So the only thing is it has a very strong fragrance, which smells amazing, but I know some of you don't like fragrances. And then the other thing to note is it feels producty in your hair. So if you want it to feel like there's no product in your hair, you're not going to like this product. It feels like a texturizing spray. So now I can be a little less precious with the diffusing. My hair is already dry, so I'm not going to create much frizz. So this is not a hairspray, guys. It's going to give you different results. It's a product that I just am borrowing from a friend. And I've just been really enjoying it. It's quite expensive, but if you're into buying luxury products, let's see. So then I'm just diffusing. So again, this is a Wave, it's called Wave Foundation. I haven't tried using it on wet hair yet, which I think is actually how you're meant to use it. But I think it's meant for like if you have a really loose wave pattern. It's probably similar to the Wave Tech Refreshing. Actually, I don't think it is similar to that. It's kind of like a texturizing spray meets a sea salt spray. Doesn't really have hold to it. My hair is so soft. The Irish sea moss gel leaves your hair so soft, even when you add too much of it. Okay. How good does that look, eh? Na na na, na na na. Okay, now the last two steps. Well, actually, I just wanted to see how that looked with my hair. Yeah, I really like that refreshing spray. It just makes my hair a little bit less soft, a little bit more gritty. You know what I mean? So then I'm gonna put a little bit of cream hairspray. I'm using a lot of products today. Why not? We've got them. A little bit of cream hairspray. Should I do this? Maybe I won't do this. No, I will do this. A little bit of cream hairspray just on my fingertips. And it's called a cream hairspray because you know how hairspray, when you spray something, it sets immediately, like versus a gel takes a long time to dry. Hairspray sets immediately. This cream hairspray does that. It kind of sets immediately. I don't call my hair wavy. The fact that I call my hair wavy has nothing to do with what you guys call the curl police. Okay, so I rub a little bit of that cream hairspray into my bangs, or into my roots, not my bangs. And then I zhuzh it up, and I'm trying to create a little bit of frizz under the top layer of my hair. And that little layer of frizz is going to help me get a little bit more volume. And you will see the impact that has on final results. And we created a lot of frizz there. I wonder if I have a smoothing cream. There we go. Here we go. Okay, so that's my final look. I've got tons of volume. I could use a little bit of smoothing cream right here just to revive. I might just use a little bit of water. And I'm probably just going to let this air dry because once it's dry, it's gonna blend in with the rest of my hair. Do. I know. The same people who tell me that I can't comb my hair wavy are the exact same people who get mad when someone goes into their comments and says that their hair isn't curly. You're doing the same thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm basically this little piece that got a little bit frizzy, just didn't want to set. So I'm just like finger curling it, and I'm just probably gonna let it air dry. Aww. I might end up just curling it with a curling iron. We'll see. Are there a bunch of people coming in here saying that this isn't my natural curl pattern? I mean, it's not my natural curl pattern, to be clear. I Denman brushed and diffused it. My hair looks nothing like this when it's air dried. A lot of you guys have been here for a long time. Thank you for joining me today. This has been so much fun. So when I have a really stubborn piece like this, I'm gonna try and fix it just with its natural curl pattern. But if it doesn't want to, you can always go back in afterwards with a curling iron. Just hit it with a little heat protectant before you go in with the curling iron. Also, that can heat damage your hair. Just full disclosure. I'm just realistic. It is 12:38 for me. What time is it for you guys? There we go. But you see how much that the Denman brush like enhances the curl pattern? It definitely is gonna artificially enhance your curl pattern. So if that's something you want certain pieces to like be like enhanced, Denman brush is definitely going to be the way to go. Okay, I don't wanna mess with it anymore because I've already created a little bit too much frizz on this side. That's something that I'm gonna fix tomorrow during my refresh probably, is I'm gonna divide these up into more like individuals. Like I'm gonna turn this into like 3 brush curls probably during my refresh tomorrow. But for today, I'm perfectly happy with these results. I think that turned out really, really well. And I like the shape. I like the volume. Okay, thanks so much for joining today, guys. I go live every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. with a full hair routine. I rotate the products. Sometimes I use the same products, sometimes I don't. But yeah, I mean, I get gifted products, so that allows me to try a lot of different products and tell you what I think of them. Thank you, Selena. Thanks so much for joining. You were here a long time today. And yeah, any last minute questions before I hop off? You've got about 5 minutes. Can you show the products again? Totally. So I used the Recoil, which I love, Recoil by AG on very wet hair. Then I went in with too much Irish sea moss gel, way too much Irish sea moss gel. Yeah, sorry. So I used these two products first if you want to take a screenshot. They're also linked in my bio. Well, I don't know if AG is linked. I think it is, but it might not be. But if you want to order it, the Curlology Salon link in my bio, she sells it. You can either go pick it up in salon if you're located in Ottawa, so that you don't have to pay for shipping, or you can just order it from her page. And then, of course, the Lust link is also in my bio, and there's a 10% off code in my bio. I have not told the good news, Cindy. Don't worry, I wouldn't do that to you. But I'll let you guys know the day it's going to be announced, because it doesn't just affect me, so I can't just like tell you. But I wanted to get you guys excited because I'm excited. So those are the two main products that I used. Then we diffused my hair. I went in with a little bit of the Wave foundation. So I used this morning to refresh my hair before, and I just posted a video about it before I did my full wash day. I really, really liked it as a refreshing tool. I used it today on my day 1 hair. It was okay. I much prefer using it on day 2, day 3, day 4 hair as a tool to refresh. If your hair is pretty much straight but gets very frizzy, I mean, straight hair can get frizzy. That doesn't necessarily mean that your hair is wavy. However, just try doing a wavy hair routine and see how your results go. The brush is Denman D4. The name on the pink bottle is, it's the Wave Foundation by Mela and Kira. Oh, sorry, YouTube. I just was really depriving you there. So it was AG Recoil and Lust Brand's Irish Sea Moss Gel. And then I put in a little bit of the Mela and Kira Wave Foundations, which is like that kind of a texturizing spray, sort of, kind of a sea salt spray. And then we put in a little bit of cream hairspray, which is Tweak. I really like this spray. It's for tweaking your hairstyle at the end. I use it in the roots. Yeah, today was a busy live, for sure. Oh my God, I live in Canada and it snowed a lot today, so I'm gonna be shoveling for the rest of the day. The brush for screenshot is linked to my bio. Denman D4. Denman's sending me a bunch more brushes. I'm really excited. Thank you, Denman. And mine is the 9-row. It's the Denman D4. I've like rubbed off the logo completely, but this is a Denman brush. It's not a knockoff. Should you be putting heat protection into your hair for the sun? I mean, I don't, but I guess it depends where in the world you live. If you live in the desert and you're outside all the time, then yeah, it could be a good idea. But you would have to get, not heat protection, it would have to be like UV protection hair products. I'm sure some exist. I don't know. I don't even feel like I can necessarily answer that question. In the climate I live in, it's a non-issue. I live in Ottawa in Canada. If you live somewhere like California and you were outside for like 8 hours a day in blistering sun, I don't think it's the heat from the sun that's gonna be an issue. It's gonna be the UV. So, but I would do homework. I don't really feel qualified to answer that. Do curls fade away more if you have longer hair? A little bit. Like it can get weighed down a little bit by longer hair, and it can be a little bit bouncier for some people with shorter hair. But if you go too short, and your curl doesn't start at the root. Like if you can imagine, if my hair was only 1 inch long, it would look like my hair was straight, right? Because I have no bend in my hair from there to there. So if you go too short, then you'll get rid of your curl pattern completely. Your son's going up there for work. That's awesome. Oh, you're ordering all this and trying it. That's awesome. Leslie from The Big Bang Theory. Which one is Leslie? Anyways, if you found this helpful, guys, thank you, Julie. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit that follow button. YouTube, we still have one person on there. How you doing? If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit the follow button on whatever channel you're following me on. On all three of these channels, I go live now at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday with a full hair routine. If you want to go back and see the beginning of the hair routine from today, guys, you can do that by going to YouTube, where it's going to get reposted. And I believe I will also be reposting it now on Instagram. So those are two places that you can go back and check the replay. Okay. She's the one that Leonard had a relationship with before Penny. Oh God, I'm sure that wasn't complimentary then. Maybe, who knows? Okay, well, we're gonna hop off now, and I'll see you next week. Bye.